What's up, YouTube? Is Matthew here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm at a title company. If we can focus right there for a little second. So this is Rely Title. I actually closed a few wholesale deals here back in the past, but I'm actually closing a flip project deal. But in today's video, I'm going to explain how to find a wholesaler friendly title company for your business, because finding a good title company is imperative to you closing deals, because you want to create a relationship with a title company where it's win-win for both the title company and for yourself. And just so that you can have multiple title companies that you work with, so that if one title company is jam-packed with closings, you can go to another. Or if one title company, hey, we can only do this type of transaction or closing, you can go to the other. And so I'm going to share my screen with you all, just show you all how to find title companies, what to say, what to ask for. And because not all title companies do wholesale deals, not all title companies are even favorable towards wholesalers. And so I'm just going to list off the different steps that I do in order to find a wholesaler friendly title company. All right, you all, so I'm back in the YouTube studio because I want to actually share my screen with you all and go through the process of finding a wholesaler friendly title company, because there are some steps that you should follow in order to find that wholesaler friendly title company. So I'm going to share my screen with you all and share a Google Maps and show you all exactly what I would do when I'm trying to find a title company. All right, so right here, I just typed into Google title company and I clicked on maps in Google, and it shows me different title companies around a specific area. So for example, this is near Nashville, Tennessee. And essentially what I would do to find a wholesaler friendly title company, one way is just call all of these title companies, title services, and I would ask them this question. Make sure you all write this down. I would ask them, do you all do assignments or do you all do double closings? And do you all do double closings? Because you want them to be able to do double closings, to be able to do assignments on contracts and things of that nature. And some are going to say, no, we do not. And you say, thank you, and you move on to your next title company. The other title companies are going to say, that's illegal. We don't deal with that. You just say, hey, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And then move on. And then you're going to find some that are going to kind of question you, like, what do you mean assignments on contracts? And they may be genuinely asking you to verify what you do. And, you can just let them know, I do wholesale real estate. I'm trying to assign purchase and sales agreements over to cash buyers, over to investors. Do you all work with that? And if they are familiar with it, they'd be like, yeah, I think we could do that. But honestly, I would steer clear of those title companies. I like to stick to title companies that once you say assignments on contracts and they say, yes, yeah, we do wholesale deals here all the time, those are the title companies you want to work with. On top of that, you want to make sure they can do double closes, because let's say you do want to double close on your property on a specific wholesale deal where you don't want your buyer to see how much money you're making, so you decide to double close on the property. You want to make sure your title company can do that. Other type of transactions they should be familiar with is seller financing, sub-2 deals, and things of that nature. If you want to eventually get yourself into those different areas of real estate, then you ask them those questions. But specifically for wholesale real estate, ask them, hey, do you all do assignments on contracts? And do you all do double closes? If they say yes, if they've done these deals so many times before, they won't ask you any questions. And that's a good title company that you can work with. The other option, or the other way to find title companies, is obviously through asking other investors. You can go to Facebook and you just ask them on Facebook, where are the best title companies for investors, or specifically to do assignments or to do wholesale deals. And people are more than willing to share that. That's not something that a lot of wholesalers keep to themselves. Like, yeah, I use this title company. Go ahead, use them. So it shouldn't be a big deal actually finding a investor-friendly, a wholesaler-friendly title company when you're talking to other investors, other wholesalers, your competitors online, because that's always good news for a title company, because it brings in more business for that title company. Also, just talking to maybe real estate agents, lenders, talking to your cash buyer when you find one. Hey, which title company do you like to close with? And then you can reach out, making sure they know how to do assignments on contracts. They know how to do these type of deals, because sometimes the cash buyer will want you to close with a specific title company. I had one instant where a cash buyer wanted to close at a different title company that I never used before. And I just made sure, hey, do you all do assignments on contracts? And they were like, yeah, we can do that. They may work a little bit different. Like each title company may approach assignments and wholesale deals a little bit differently. They may require you to bring this document or bring this form or do this or do that. And so that's all within reason, and every title company is different, but as long as they can do the deal, then you should be good. Now I want to talk about what happens at the title company, what goes on at the title company, and what is your role as a wholesaler when you are closing your wholesale deal. So number one, you don't even have to show up to the title company. You can have your money wired to you, or you could just come in later to pick up your check. There are a lot of closings where I just picked up the check later. But in the beginning stages, I just wanted to go through the whole process. And so I think it's especially good for a beginner to experience that. Like, hey, you've done all this hard work of trying to get your first deal, your second deal. Like, go to the title company, experience that, meet the seller, be there with the buyer, and just experience that whole process of how a title company works. And I think it's very important for a lot of beginners to go through that. And essentially what happens is that the seller signs all their documents and the buyer signs all their documents, and you just pick up your check. Usually as a wholesaler, you don't sign any documents, but your title company may require you to do this or do that or show your ID. Usually they ask for your ID, making sure you're the person on the paper and whatnot, receiving the contract. Now, once you have your purchase and sales agreement between you and the seller, and then you have your other contract between you and your cash buyer, and you send that off to the title company, they're going to do their magic and they're going to do the title search. Sometimes they reach out to the seller for more information, and that's totally fine. But your role is to just make sure they're kind of on top of everything. If it's a great title company, they're going to make sure you're on top of everything, and they're going to be on top of emailing you, communicating what's going on, and just the process, along the way. But some title companies, you kind of have to reach out, be like, okay, how is this going? How did the title search come out? Things of that nature. And even good title companies, you may have to send that email because they're jam-packed with a bunch of closings or things of that nature. So it's totally fine just to, send a quick email as a reminder or just asking. And then setting a time. So usually they go by whatever the closing date of the purchase and sales agreement is. And hopefully you communicated that to the cash buyer also. And so they'll reach out and be like, okay, what is a good time for you all? So like earlier in this video where I was at the title company, they went according to what was on the contract. Now, if I had everything together, I could have closed earlier, but I didn't. And so because your contract usually says on or before this date, right? So you can close before that date, but usually the title company is going to go by that closing date. They reached out, they're like, hey, we have these times available this day. Which time works for you? I picked the earliest time they had available, 10 a.m. Boom. And then so I met there with the seller, and this was for a flip project for me. So I was like the end buyer. And so I had to sign all the papers and do things of that nature. So it was a good experience, but that's usually how you get things scheduled. And once you essentially give all the contracts to the title company, it's just all downhill from there. Hopefully the title comes back clean. There's no major issues, right? No major liens or loans or like, oh, this has to go through probate. And then like essentially the deal is lost until they go through probate. I did have a few wholesale deals that went through that. Well, one project, I was going to flip a property, but they found out they didn't go through probate and they had to go through probate. And so that deal was canceled. And then there was another deal where I contacted the seller. I don't think I put them on the contract yet, but they had to go through probate. And it was like 3-4 months later, and I put the property under contract. So I kept up with them. I followed up with them like at least once a month. And when it was time to sell, they sold me the property at a great price. And that was probably my highest wholesale deal that I ever got. You can always keep up with these sellers that have title issues along the way, but it just may take a longer time. All right, you all, that's everything about title companies with wholesaling and how to find a wholesaler friendly title company. Just make sure you call a bunch, ask other investors, and ask if these title companies or your closing attorney can do assignments on contracts and double closes. Make sure you all like this video, comment down below, and I'll talk to you all later.